Welcome to the Minnesota Association for College Admission Counseling College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event today. We have some fantastic schools with us today. My name is Jessica and I'll be your facilitator. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping notes for us. Number one, your camera and microphones are off, so the speakers cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button at any time on your screen to ask a question to the presenters. This is one of the many sessions happening today, so make sure you go back and check the schedule. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/Minnesota. So I'd like to now turn it over to our presenters. All right, Lacey, it's all yours.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. You've made an excellent decision today to attend this session, first and foremost. College Planning 101. So we're going to just dive right in. I want to introduce everyone that is on the call for our panelists today. First off, I'll kick us off. My name is Lacey Seefeldt. I am a representative from the University of Wisconsin-Stout, which is located just about an hour from the Twin Cities into Wisconsin, located in Menominee, Wisconsin. So I'm happy to be here to be able to share a little bit about my expertise with you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Peder Smith. I'm an admissions rep at UTHER College, which is in Decorah, Iowa. Decorah is about 2.5 hours southeast of the Twin Cities and about an hour south of Rochester, just for some reference points there. And I'm excited to talk to all of you today.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenedi Kelley. I'm an admissions representative with Kansas State University. We are located just a little bit south from everyone else. We're located in Manhattan, Kansas, which is about 2 hours away from Kansas City, whether you're on the Kansas City, Missouri side or the Kansas City, Kansas side. We're about 2 hours away in the middle of the Flint Hills.
All right, thank you. And unfortunately, Lee Parker wasn't able to join us today due to not feeling so hot. So we're gonna dive in to talking a little bit more about what we're gonna cover today. The description of the event is exactly what we're gonna cover. College Planning 101, we're gonna talk about types of colleges, career interests, paying for college, and then collaborating with high school counselors and college counselors on that journey. And then of course, yes, submit any questions that you have to the Q&A. We'd love to address anything that comes up for you along the way. So first of all, types of colleges. Before we talk about types of colleges, we're going to certainly want to talk about degree types, because sometimes the degree that you're going after, or it really leads down to the profession or what career area or interest and where you might want to land, might dictate the type of degree that you might want to go after, and then that degree type might dictate which college would make the most sense for you. And so to break it down, I love this graphic. An associate degree typically takes 2 to 3 years, and you can get an associate degree for a whole bunch of different types of careers. Maybe you want to be a dental hygienist, maybe you want to be an engineering technician, legal assistant, paramedic. There's a laundry list of options that just take an associate degree. That's the highest level of education that you need for that particular profession. The bachelor's degree, that typically takes students 4 years, but it can range depending on a lot of factors. Some students take a little bit longer to achieve their bachelor's degree, so 4 to 6 years. And then those would be professions like being an accountant or an architect or an engineer of any variety, or a teacher of any variety. So that would be next in the list. The master's degree takes a little bit longer even, right? You get your bachelor's degree typically first, and then a couple more years of education to get your master's degree for careers like to become a librarian or a physician's assistant or a school counselor or principal. A professional degree can also take around 6 to 8 years. That's for folks wanting to be a dentist, a lawyer, a chiropractor, pharmacist, veterinarian, all of those options. And then finally, a doctoral degree takes a little bit longer, right? It's a lot of years of education to maybe become a college professor, physical therapist, psychologist, school superintendent oftentimes have doctoral degrees. And so depending on what career area you're looking for and how many years you're planning on going to school, that might influence or impact a little bit on what college option would be best for you. So technical and community colleges typically have those shorter term program offerings. So technical colleges offer certificate programs that can be shorter in duration. Like, for example, like a truck driving certificate typically takes, I think, a semester. It's just a few months to get that certificate. Up to an associate degree level. A lot of technical colleges will offer an associate degree of some kind, whether that's an associate of science or an associate of arts. They're typically very hands-on, those technical colleges are, very career focused for a specific industry, but like I said, some of them will have some of the general education type classes so that you can earn an associate degree. But more commonly, community colleges offer that. And then there's also combined, a lot of the schools in Minnesota, right, are both the technical and then they have that community college aspect where you're able to earn your associate degree in that 2-year mark. And then enter the world of work or transfer maybe on to get a bachelor's degree after your associate degree. So there's a couple different paths that you can take as well if you decide to go that route through a community college. Private career schools are another option. They are usually really focused. So there's cosmetology specific schools or truck driving specific schools. That's really what their core focus is. Sometimes you can graduate quickly from them, but the trade-off might be the cost. They might be a little bit more expensive than going through a technical school through a public technical or community college route. And then finally, 4-year universities. And everybody, all the panelists represent 4-year baccalaureate institutions. And so we offer a variety of majors and on-campus activities and a broad range of topics. Our schools typically, I think all of us have master's degree offerings as well as at our schools. But 4-year universities can be public schools or private institutions. So we definitely represent a variety of different school types on the call today, which is kind of fun. And that I think is one of the great things about having a panel like this. And it's all about finding the right fit for you. And, you have to explore a little bit. You have to understand a little bit more about yourself and what you want in a school, because there's different areas of fit. There's geographic concerns. Are you location bound? Do you want to be closer to home? There's numeric concerns. How big of a campus do you want to be at? Do you want to be at a smaller school with smaller class sizes? Or are you more of the, I would love a little anonymity and being in a class with a couple hundred students, because we all have different size ranges and different size range for the classes that we host and all of that. Areas of fit include academic. That's a really logical one. Does that institution have the major that you're interested in studying? Social, what's the social scene like? What are the clubs and organizations that you can get involved in? What extras are available at that institution? Emotional fit. Some of it is a gut reaction, like, does it feel right when you are on campus? And so I'll talk a little bit soon about, visiting campus. And then finally, financial. Does it make sense for your financial situation based on the cost of attendance? So really considering all of these things, there's so many things that will weight into your personal equation. for what college makes the most sense for you. As we just talked, maybe it's in the athletic program that you're super passionate about, involvement opportunities, the cost, the size, the reputation of the school. Does it have your major? So all of these might, carry different weights as you narrow down like what schools might make the most sense for you and what you're looking for. So I like to give concrete examples, right? I think that's the most helpful to students. And so let's just take a look at the panelists and the types of institutions that we represent, so that you can start looking at the college fit differences, even among the examples of the four of us that are on the line, right? Luther College being the four-year private liberal arts school, 1,800 students from Decorah. So Peder, why don't you go ahead and just do a quick overview of the campus, and we'll maybe just go down the line. I hate to be redundant on this, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks, Lacey. So as we mentioned before, Luther is in Decorah, Iowa. It's in a rural location. That's important to note, right? Some schools are in more of an urban location. Some are more in a rural location. It's a private four-year school. So all of our students graduate with a bachelor's degree. We don't offer any graduate degrees at Luther. So all students here are undergraduate students. It's a liberal arts school, which means we have students take courses in many, many different disciplines. So just because you might consider yourself a biologist doesn't mean you're only going to take biology courses, right? We want you to be able to write well and communicate well. So you might have to take some English-based classes, right? And we want to really make sure our students are multidimensional and multifaceted by the time they graduate from Luther College. We have 60 plus majors and pre-professional programs that range from anything from the health sciences to computer science to theater to pre-physical therapy, pre-dental, pre-med, pre-law, anything like that. So we have lots of great options, and we also have lots of students who end up majoring in more than just one program, in more than one discipline. We also have 80 plus clubs and organizations, so there is plenty for students at Luther to get involved in, to gain leadership skills, and to be a part of many different communities while they're here.
All right, thank you. I'll go next to talk a little bit more about the type of institution that University of Wisconsin-Stout is. We are a four-year public university and offer both baccalaureate degrees as well as grad programs, so you can get your master's degree here as well. We are a polytechnic school, the only one really in the area between Minnesota and Wisconsin, which means that we have a particular emphasis on the hands-on applied learning activities and really being strongly career focused. So similar to the way a technical college would have a more of a focus on the hands-on and the career focus, but again, four-year baccalaureate programs only. We don't offer associate programs or certificate programs. So they're a little bit more advanced. A medium-sized university having about 8,000 students on campus. We are in a rural location in Menominee, Wisconsin. It's a small town environment. And then we have over 45 different majors and pre-professional programs, so pre-dentistry, pre-chiropractic, pre-med, over 150 different clubs and organizations that students can participate in, and a lot of our majors are actually very specialized, or we might be one of only a handful of schools that offer that major really in the country in some circumstances. So like we have a packaging program and plastics engineering and video game design and development. So some really cool like niche areas on our campus as well. And then Kenedi, why don't you chime in?
Yeah, thank you so much, Lacey. So Kansas State University is actually split into about 4 different campuses. So here on main campus, located in Manhattan, Kansas, that I mentioned earlier, is where we have that 21,000 students. It is a public 4-year institution, and then we do offer a handful of graduate programs, master's and doctorate programs as well. We also have a polytechnic campus about an hour away in Salina, Kansas, and that's actually where we have some of our pilot schools. So as Lacey mentioned, being a polytechnic school, you're focused a lot on some of those hands-on learning experiences, but our polytechnic campus specifically are for students who would like to do anything that has to do with getting your pilot's license or learning how to work with planes and all of those things. So they're very specialized programs, and that campus is a little bit smaller. We also have graduate programs available in a campus in Olathe, Kansas, which is about 2 hours near Kansas City, and then we have K-State Online as well. So lots and lots of options, lots of different degree programs. We're a little bit larger, but I did want to focus on main campus today. So we do have that 21,000 students on our main campus here in Manhattan. We have about 250 majors and programs. That includes about 50 minors that are split through some different academic colleges here at the university, and I know we'll talk about those a little bit later on. We have 500 clubs and organizations. We have a lot of students and a lot that they're interested in, and they range anywhere from academics-based, identity-based, to some things that are just for fun. So really whatever you're wanting to get interested in, we have some sort of involvement available for our students. And then some of our notable programs are some things that are a little maybe special about the university, is that we do offer some pre-professional programs. So if you're looking to go to dentistry school, law school, or any of those things, we do have those programs that help prepare and get you to maybe some other programs around the country, or anything like that. But then we also do have a veterinary school on our campus here in Manhattan. So if you're thinking you want to do animal science or pre-vet, you could also stay and do that graduate program here at the university. We do offer lots of land space that are filled with animal units and all those things. So that's something that's a little bit different. But like I said, lots of options and lots of things for you to choose from.
All right, thank you, Kennedy. So how do you figure it out? How do you find out? The best way to go about it is to visit the campus and have that experience for yourself, stepping foot onto a college campus, walking around, taking that tour, having that experience is really going to help with that gut reaction of yes, this is my fit, or this maybe isn't what I was looking for. And so it's really important to check those out for yourself and visit the campuses. All of us have visit programs where you can come in person. Typically you visit our website and register online for a day and time that works for you. So head out to whatever colleges that you're interested in, their websites. So we'll have a specific visit page where you're able to learn more about their visit opportunities. All right, segueing a little bit to talk about career interests. You have some time, right? Depending on where you're at in school, even if you're a senior right now, you're not in college yet. There's some time to explore different career opportunities. Career exploration strategies include a lot of different things. You might do some website research. There's some really, really great web resources available to students. You might do an informational interview and interview some different professionals to see if they enjoy what they do, based on what careers you might be interested in. There's career assessments. Some of us might offer them at the college level, but there's some free career assessments online. But there's a lot of great reasons why you should do some research, like trying to figure out where you want to be, what you want to do. That's really, really important part of this process. It allows you to spot any disadvantages of that career field. Maybe it's the level of education, your pay, or the work hours and that occupation entails. Will there be jobs available in the future? What's the future outlook for that particular career area that you're looking at? And really just learning more about yourself and opening up the world of work and really you're opening up your mind to what the possibilities might be, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So at this point, it's all about exploring the options that are out there. So And a great example, and I have a QR code up on this particular slide, is this will take you right to a 30-question interest assessment. It is optimized for a mobile device, so it works really, really nicely if you want to take a moment to scan the code and drop to this 30-question interest test. You're able to go through that test, it's real brief, to start exploring career options. This is one way, one example of a great way to explore career options and start doing some research on your own. It will, at the end of the test, give you an interest code based on what your results are. So it's typically three different types. So in this scenario, based on the results, this person is an artistic, conventional, social person. And I'm going to talk through what all of those codes mean in a second here, but there's realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. And typically it'll give you the top three, but it is in order. So like if it says artistic, conventional, then those are your two strongest, right? So artistic in this example is the top strength of this person. And that might be what they're best at doing. So to break this down a little bit further, just so you understand, the R, or realistic individuals, are doers. They really like, they maybe have athletic interests and prefer to work with objects and machines and tools and plants and animals. The thinkers, or investigative people, really like to analyze and solve problems. They might like to work using computers or using a microscope and solving some real complex problems. The artistic folks are the creators. They like to use their imagination and creativity. Usually they maybe like to play an instrument or act or dance or draw or paint. The S people, social people, are the helpers in the helping professions. Maybe they want to be teachers or mediate disputes and really like working with people. The enterprising people are the persuaders of the world. They maybe really are interested in doing some organizational goal, business-oriented things. They like to, be leaders, lead the large groups, and achieve the goals of the organization. And then finally, the conventional is the last type of career code, which is the organizers that like to really be self-sufficient. Efficient, organized, and really methodical type of people, the planners, and they like to work with numbers. And so when you get your code, it allows you to then search 4 different careers based on what that career code is. So every career out there is going to have a career code. So if you're more of a social person, you can search for careers that have social as their dominant career code. So some really great sites. These are just some of the good tools to use. Is Career One Stop, ONET Online, and the Minnesota State CareerWise you're probably somewhat familiar with. But all 3 of these websites are really great. Pick one. You don't have to use all of them. They are great ways to explore your opportunities and options. So Career One Stop will allow you to take the different interest tests. You can take a skills assessment and a work values assessment as well. And then you can search by the occupational codes. And then ONET, similarly, once they have codes attached to each one of them, the same career interest codes. But then you can do different types of searches based on a career cluster you might be most interested, based on the industry you might be most attracted to. These are just really strong resources for career exploration. And again, to give us some concrete examples of some career interests that are out there and available to you, we'll just again go down the line and each share some examples of some of the career areas that are available at our universities, and then maybe some of the more unique programs that we offer. So Peder, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll see in our column, I've listed some of our top programs at Luther. Nursing, biology, anything pre-health is one of our strongest areas. We actually have a great relationship with the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. And so a lot of our nursing students and pre-health students spend time up there doing internships, doing research, and getting some really, really valuable experience, hands-on experience. Education is one of our biggest programs, especially when paired with music. We have a ton of music education students that come through Luther. We have a massive music program. About 40% of our students participate in music at Luther, which is a really unique thing for a small school, right? And so our music education program is really one of our strongest. Psychology, again, going back to the pre-health sciences, right? Psychology is another one of our really strong majors. And finally, business. We have students go 3 different tracks in our business major. Management, accounting, and economics are the 3 options. And that's another massive program we have here. We have some really unique ones too. Luther is one of only 2 schools in the country with a Nordic studies major. So if that's something that interests you, if you have Scandinavian roots, then maybe that's a good reason to come to Luther. We have a really, really active theater program and musical theater program. So not only can students study that academically as their major, we also have a theater program that's putting on 5, 6, 7 productions every single year. So they're always working on something. Visual communication is one of our programs that's really grown in the last few years. Students that are interested in graphic design, film, photography, have really enjoyed our visual communication major. And our identity studies major, which is kind of a mixture of our women and gender studies, Asian studies, Africana studies, are all in that identity studies major. And that's a really open-ended major. You can go a lot of different directions with that. Those will be some of the more unique ones at Luther.
All right, and then at UW Stout, I have all of our 6 different career clusters that we offer programs through. Art design and graphics is a flagship program area for us. We have a huge school of art and design, and the most popular majors within that are going to be graphic design and our video game design and development programs. Our business and management career cluster, I would say that the largest, most popular program at Stout is going to be general business. Business administration is a very popular, largest program on campus. In our education array, our most popular program offering is definitely early childhood education. But we also have some niche areas like tech ed and special education. Science, engineering, and math, I would say our largest or most popular programs in that area is definitely all of our engineering array, all ABET accredited engineering programs at Stout, very, very hands-on focus for all of those majors. But we also have a very large proportion of our students going into applied science because they might be going after those pre-professional programs in, pre-med or pre-dentistry, and typically they have a science background attached to them. Information technology and communications, our largest program in that career cluster is going to be computer science, and there's a ton of different concentration areas that students can focus more heavily on. And then health and human services, our largest program in that category is going to be our psychology program for sure. But Stout, as I had mentioned earlier, has got some really, really unique things. Our video game design and development program is actually 2 different programs. There's one that's more focused on computer programming and doing the programming side of video game creation. And then there's the other side, which is the art and design side. So that's hugely popular. Hotel, restaurant, and tourism management, we consistently rank in the top 10 in the world for that particular major. There's a kitchen right on campus that students are preparing meals out of and kind of running like a real restaurant. But some students are focused more on the tourism side and then certainly on the hotel management side as well. Our construction management program, definitely a more unique program out there. And then golf enterprise management, somebody's got to run the golf courses, right? So that's a kind of a unique program as well for us. And then finally, fashion and retail, which has got a few different components. You can focus more on the fashion industry and do apparel design, or the more retail side. All right, Kenedi, how about you?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that we have about 250 different majors and programs on our campus. Those are easily broken up into those 9 academic colleges that you're seeing on the screen there. So if you imagine Kansas State University as the United States, all these academic colleges are like individual states where all of those majors and programs are broken up. So I'll just go through a couple of these. Our College of Agriculture is one of our most popular colleges on campus. This is where we have our animal science degrees, horticulture degrees. If you're wanting to do ag business or anything like that, all of those would be located there. Our architecture, planning, and design school is also something that's pretty notable on campus. All of these students are able to leave campus with a 5-year degree, so a master's degree, rather than just a bachelor's degree. So that's something super unique about the program, is that students can start in that freshman class, but after 5 years, leaving with a master's instead of just their bachelor's degree in that form. I'll come back to our College of Arts and Sciences because there are a couple of things to note there, but you can see a couple of the other places that we have here on this list. Health and Human Sciences is a wide variety of programs. You can go into health or the human sciences. So that's where you'll find fashion studies, gerontology, if you want to work with the elderly. A couple of other pieces are there. And then I did mention our technology and aviation school, as well as our veterinary medicine school. So again, lots of options for students to choose something that they're truly passionate about. And it means that a lot of our programs are specified and, a little more niche to whatever you're thinking about going into. Our most unique programs are listed below. I did want to start with open option because it is in our College of Arts and Sciences. So Arts and Sciences is our largest college on campus. It has about 80 different majors on its own, ranging from any of the arts to some of those more computational sciences and such. But open option is designed for students who maybe don't know where they fit in that 250. It's a very large number with lots of options. So our open option program, students are able to stay in for the first two years or 4 semesters that they're at K-State. They're able to take classes in all of these different academic colleges to really see what they're interested in, really see what fits for them. And they don't have to declare a major until their junior year. And we're able to do this while keeping them academically safe. So you can do this and still graduate in 4 years, which is something that we're super happy about and excited about, that students still get the chance to explore. You don't have to have it all figured out by the time you start with us, but we can help you get there if that's what you're needing. We are one of the only schools in the country that offer a bakery science degree. So that's offered in our College of Agriculture. If you want to make bread and, donuts and stuff and figure out how different types of wheat affect your food and all those other types of things, then we have an awesome bakery science program. And then we also have a leadership studies program at the university as well. So this is only offered as a minor. It's our most popular minor on campus with about 2/3 of our students going through. And that's because we believe that leadership is applicable to any major. And we didn't want students to have to choose between engineering or leadership or anything like that. It's very low intensity. There are not lots of tests or quizzes or anything, and students can just take one of these classes each year that they're at K-State and fulfill that minor. So it's something that looks really good on resumes, something that we're super proud of, and lots of other programs that are affiliated with that school as well. So something super unique that we're happy to offer students to make sure that they're having the leadership skills, having the cultural competency they need to make them suitable for the workforce.
All right, next up we have Peder. I'm going to turn the mic over to be talking a little bit more about paying for college.
Awesome, thank you, Lacey. So if you're sitting at home with your parents right now, this is probably the time when you should elbow them and make sure they're listening, right? They're probably pretty interested in this section. College, it can be very expensive. There's no way to beat around the bush, right? We should just be frank about that. But one thing that we do need to do is to think about school as an investment, okay? So if you look at this graph, you'll see the median weekly earnings by degree, okay? So these are the degrees that Lacey was talking about earlier. You can see that as you go to more school, you are likely to earn more after you graduate, right, in your career. A bachelor's degree, which again is what the 3 of us on the panel here That's going to be the degree that you earn right after high school, right? That's already more than twice as much what average people are earning with less than a high school diploma. Then you go on to a master's degree, right? Maybe after you get your bachelor's, and it bumps up a little bit more. And this graph doesn't even include a doctoral degree, right? And that's going to be even higher than the master's degree. So just like your parents made investments on a home, or they're making investments as part of their retirement, right? You're making an investment when you decide to go to college. Go ahead, Lacey. Thanks. So let's talk about all the elements that are part of paying for college, because there's a lot. Let's start on the left with the tuition and fees. Tuition is just going to be the cost of your courses, right? The cost to enroll at the school for a semester or for a year. This fee or this price will include other fees, such as maybe a technology fee, maybe a fee to the campus's recreation center, maybe a fee for other academic accommodations on campus, okay? Often this cost is put together with the room and board to create what we call a comprehensive fee, okay? So sometimes a student will pay a comprehensive fee to go to a school for a year, and that'll be the tuition and the room and board. Room and board is what you're paying to live on campus. Now, it's going to be different between different schools, whether you're expected to live on campus for a certain number of years. At Luther College, for example, all students live on campus for all 4 years. It's a residential campus. That's not going to be the same at every other school. Sometimes you'll live on campus for 1 year or 2 years before moving off campus for your last couple of years of school. So that's important to keep in mind as you're looking at these different schools. Do you want to live on campus for all 4 years, or do you want to get off and live in a house or in an apartment off campus? Those are all options. Textbooks and supplies, those costs can add up. One statistic that I've seen is that you can expect to spend about $500 a semester on textbooks. That's a lot of money. They're expensive. Again, these are all just costs that you need to keep in mind when you're thinking about where you're going to go to school and how much it might cost. Personal expenses, those are things, maybe smaller things, but they add up, right? What you spend on laundry, maybe what you spend to get season tickets to football games, maybe what you spend going out to eat on the weekends with your friends. Transportation, these are things that might come into play if you're thinking about going to school further away from home. If you live in the Twin Cities and you're thinking about going to Kansas State, your travel expenses might be a bit more if you're coming home for breaks, if you're coming home for summer, right? So those are things to think about too. In a town like Decorah, you can walk just about anywhere. You probably won't pay that much on gas when you're in Decorah because you can get almost everywhere in town on foot. So there's a lot of different elements of financial aid. We want to help you understand each of these elements. There is need-based aid. Those are going to be the 3 categories on the left: grants, loans, and work study. Those are based off of your family's financial need. The way that schools determine what your family's financial need is through the FAFSA. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's a bit of a mouthful. It just opened 5 days ago for this year's senior class, okay? The students who will be going to their first year of college, 2022-23. That is an application that you'll fill out with your parents. It's sent to the federal government and then dispersed to any schools that you are interested in attending, so they know what type of financial need your family needs. Grants are free money. You like grants. You do not have to pay back grants. These are given to students with the most financial need. and most of them come from the federal and state governments. However, some schools also have a pool of grant money that they give out to students and families with the most financial need. Loans are borrowed money. Loans do need to be paid back. It's really important to understand what the interest rate of your loans are going to be. Some loans are offered through the federal government. These often have a little bit lower interest rate. Private loans, on the other hand, are going to have a little bit higher interest rate. So it's more expensive to borrow that money. Work study. This is something that all colleges have. You can work on campus and earn money through that. At some schools, you must qualify financially to earn work study. Some schools like Luther, every student is offered work study regardless of financial background. There are some really cool positions that you can work on college campuses. You can work in the admissions office, right? That's where the three of us are working. You can give tours to students when they come to campus. You can be an assistant for a teacher. There's a lot of different options for work study. Finally, scholarships are awarded money. This is often called merit-based financial aid. This is based off of your merit as a student. Things like your GPA, possibly your standardized test scores, the types of extracurriculars you're involved in. Those all might factor in what type of scholarships you're awarded from schools. You can also apply for scholarships through local businesses. Maybe your high school gives out certain scholarships. So that's a good thing to be keeping an eye on now. What kind of scholarships can you be applying for now as a high school student? With that, I think I'll pass it on to Kenedi for the last few minutes here.
Thank you, Peder. So now we're going to talk about different types of counselors and representatives that can be helping you through this college search process. So here I have listed some different types of counselors that will be available to you as you're going through this process. So the first four are going to be people that are available to you immediately at your high school. So no matter if you're a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, or any of those things, these are people who are here to service you and make sure that you have everything you need. So you'll see you have a guidance counselor there. That might just be your regular counselor, someone who you can visit to maybe talk about some things that are going on in your personal life, help set goals and help you achieve those goals and all of those things. At some of your schools, maybe that guidance counselor also serves as your college counselor. Maybe they're two different people, but these are people who are going to start assisting you with your college search, start telling you about some schools and things that are available. I know when I was in high school, my college counselor always had like different pennants and stuff of local schools and colleges in the area to get us thinking about what might be available. Now, some of our states do offer hybrid advisors. So these are typically recently graduated college students who are working closely with schools to help with their capacity. So maybe there's only one college counselor or one guidance counselor for the entire school. They serve as some extra experts that are connected directly with universities that can help do some of that extra load lifting. So for here in Kansas, we have a college advising corps. They have partnerships with different schools in the state, but also work locally inside of high schools, again, to lift that weight of some of your counselors. Then we have student support staff. So if you're in any scholarship organizations or maybe a program like AVID or 21st Century or TRIO or any of those things, these are people who are on the college track and want to help you get to college. So they may set up visits for you. They may, do some partnerships with other colleges and things to make sure that you're on that track. And then you have us. So the three of us are all admissions counselors. We're all admissions representatives. It is literally our job to answer any and every question you have about the college search process, from the time you express interest in the university or that local college to the time you're enrolled. So we're here every step of the way. We know a little bit about a lot of things here on campus, and we can get you connected where you need. These are the different ways that maybe your counselors will help you, but also the ways that they help us. And obviously this is a Venn diagram, so there are some gray areas in the middle where they do lots of things. So they can schedule visits with you, they can get you on campus with us. Maybe they'll host a FAFSA night like Peder was talking about, helping your families walk through those applications and things. For us, sometimes it's getting connected with you and making sure that we have your transcripts and that things are going well for your college search process and that you have everything you need before you start here at the university. And then there are some things in the middle that we can all help with. So if you're thinking of needing some application waivers, or if you're needing some accommodations, maybe you have an individualized learning plan, or any of those things, we can make sure that we have those connections between your high school and the college where you're hoping to attend to make sure that transition is nice and smooth for you. So what can we tell you about getting started? Start early. I think this is a great first step, being in sessions like this, learning about the different options that are available to you, and make sure that you're doing your research. Think about some of those schools you're wanting to go to. I know Lacey mentioned some factors that may contribute to your college decision. Start thinking about those things as early as you can, and make sure you're providing updates to us. So whether that's your high school counselor, your advisors, or anything like that, let us know what you're thinking about and where you're wanting to go. That way we can make sure you're on top of all those dates and deadlines that are approaching as we're getting towards the end of maybe your senior year. And lastly, ask all of the questions. Like I mentioned, we know a little bit about everything that's going on in all of our schools, and we're happy to serve and help and make sure that this process is as transparent and as easy for you as possible.
All right, and that's what we have for you. So thank you so much for joining us for today's College Planning 101 session. If you want to reach out to any one of us with additional questions or anything that you want to know, we do have our contact information on this slide. I'm very, very happy to help with any questions that you have, and probably only about 30 seconds left to submit any more Q&A questions.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. Hopefully you were taking notes, because they dropped some gems of wisdom in this session. So hopefully you were taking those notes. So thank you so much for joining us, panelists. And thank you so much for joining us, students and families. So when you close this box, when you exit out of the Zoom, there's going to be a quick 5-question survey. We want to hear your feedback. Please let us know. Also know there are more sessions happening today, tonight. So make sure you sign up for those and go back to the website. And this session has been recorded, as well as other sessions, and they'll be available at strivescan.com/Minnesota. So thank you so much. Have a good day.